Hello and welcome back to my garage. Today we are going to change a radiator of a Polo 9N. It is the same Polo where we did the bushings from, so I believe this car is a 1.2 from 2001, maybe 2002. Well, what do I have to say? We have a new radiator. I've got a couple of these O-rings. These O-rings are for these, on the newer cars they have a quick disconnect kind of thing, and a good thing to do is then replace these O-rings so we don't have any leakage there, and these maybe cost a buck a piece or something, so don't skip on that. And of course we have the radiator, and what's more to say, I don't know, so let's get going. You're not going to like this, but we need to remove the bumper and the front side of the car just to remove the radiator. Yeah, I'm really bummed myself. I thought that it was just a 20-minute job, but I think this is going to take 2 hours. Especially when filming. So first of all, you don't have to remove the tire, but I think that makes my life a little bit more easier, so that's what I'm going to do. Next up we need to remove all these torque screws. It is T25 I believe. I cannot read it anymore on my screwdriver, so oh no, T20. And of course underneath you need to remove the whole tray. Also, it isn't a bad idea to remove the whole inner fender. This place, right here, is really a collection of mud and sand and stuff. So, most of the time you see Volkswagens, at least a lot of Volkswagens like the Golf 3, 4 and Polos and stuff, rotting right here. Just because there is a lot of mud behind here. And of course, more cars have the same issue. Well, it isn't that bad, but as you can see, there is a lot of mud just collected right here. I sometimes have seen that it fills up right around here. So now that we have most of the fasteners out of there, yay! My new light just came in. No more tripping over wires. It is complete with battery packs, so I can just take it whatever I want. The only problem is I still need something like a swivel thingy. So, but yeah, thank you subscribers. This is all to you. Next up you need to remove these grill pieces. There can be also a fog light right here, but probably this is a base model so it doesn't have it. And to remove them, like you can see here, some apprentice marks, have a screwdriver behind here to pull it out, but it is pretty easy. Just take these tabs and you can just pop them out. These are T30s. Also on the bottom side you have these little tag things. Let me zoom in a bit. Those things. What you need to do is just pull out the pin. Most of the time they will just come out. Just like so. As you can see, the bottom side is all done. We will do all the top side now next. These two at the top are also 30. And I do believe you can just pop this one out. But of course I don't want to break anything. It's still plastic, so. And I do believe these are the last three. And these are also torque 30, I believe. Yep. And then just these two clips right here, they just pop out. And then, oh, and also one right, oh no, that's a locator pin. And now we can just pull it off. Before we go any further, let's drain the coolant. It is always a good idea to unscrew the expansion pot, the lid, so it drains faster. Oh well, we have to wait. Next up we need to remove the lower hose, and there is a clip, an iron clip on it, and there is probably a better way to do it, but I just pry it off. And then it should disconnect. I don't know for sure if I got it on tape, but you need to remove this, just pry it off, and then you can just pull this out. And this is where the seal is hidden, somewhere around here. So we need to take it out and put it in the new one. But for now, it can go somewhere else. Next up we have here some connections, and pull them out. There's also one hidden here. I think it's for the switching of the fans. And of course it's the same procedure for the top side. Just remove that metal clip. And just try to twist and pull until it comes off. And now you're probably thinking that you just can unmount the radiator and we're done. But no, you have to remove the whole front section. You can do it with this in place, but then you must sacrifice your AC. What I mean by that, you need to drain the AC, and because the exchanger is connected to the radiator and we cannot unbolt it because all the plastic is in the way. We're starting off with the bash bar. There are 3 bolts in there, these are 13 millimeters. And on both sides there are these T30s that we need to get loose. And maybe it's a good idea to be with 2 persons now, because the whole thing is of course going towards us. There are now 4 T30 bolts that's holding in the whole assembly of the radiator and the condenser. And also on the other side. So let's see how we... Well, the hood cable just clips off. I'm sorry that I cannot show you any better, but be sure that you take off the headlight harness. So it's a good thing that you do that before unscrewing all this. And there is a harness right here. It's for a sensor, I think it's... And because the radiator is now all flopping around, we need to secure it so it doesn't drop on the ground and damaging the, well, hoses or other things. So okay, now we have to remove these 4 Torx bits, and these are also 30. This thing is still held in place with 2 more. There is one over here and one just behind here. And if I'm correct, we can now just spool this off. And now it is just a matter of transferring everything to the new one. So let's start with the fans. These are T30, by the way. It is all T30. Now we're going to transfer this sensor. I think it's a 29. I did use a little bit of sealant. The main reason is the washer that's on there is of course already crushed, and I don't want to do this all again. Next up are these placeholders. The skinny ones, the yellow whitish ones, go to the top, and the black ones to the bottom. Before we put everything back together, now it's a good time to replace these seals. Just get you one of these picks and just pry them and toss them away. Get your new one and just put it in there. And just put a little bit of silicone grease inside here so it slides on much easier. And don't forget to put back this retainer clip. And of course do the same with the other side. Now we need to wrestle the radiator back in its place without damaging it too much. So let's see how that goes. I think the best thing to do now is plug in the hoses. That's one. So now it at least stays in place, so we can bolt everything down. And of course the two on the back. It is now a little bit more complicated because we already attached it. Be sure that all these plastic thingies are on there. Maybe it isn't a bad idea to install all the connectors now. We can get to them pretty easy now. So why not use the opportunity? So maybe with the installation, you're better off taking the whole front end off before disconnecting any hoses. Or connectors, of course. So make sure all these things are in there, and now we can put back the front side of the car. I think that is going to be fun. Just place the screws in there for now, just loosely, and because we need to shift them around a bit so it aligns all very nice. Now it's important to align the headlights. And of course you need to do it at both sides. So just snug up the bolts so they're holding it in place, but you can still give it some love. So as you can see, the gap right here is much more than here. So yeah, before I close the hood, you want to make sure your latch cable is attached. We did get it into place and it aligns pretty decent. We now mustn't forget to install the other fasteners for the radiator support. Now we tighten all the bolts, also these two are at the top, the three on the bash bar. So we tighten up all the bolts, the two at the top, the 6 for the bash bar, and of course the 4 that holds in the radiator and the evaporator. The radiator for the airco. So now it's time to get the bumper and slap it into place. It should just slide on there. So be sure that it's one side and also the other side. And click these two into place. So at least it cannot drop down anymore. You need these bolts with the flat head. And you also have these with a round head. The ones with the round head go here in the top. So. One of the few remaining symbols from Nazi Germany. Yeah, and we all ride in it. And then the two bolts on the top. Now we can reinstall these shield grill thingies. Now it's time to put back the liner. I pushed it already back in place. Just for a reminder, you only have to do, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, these 4 on both sides. You don't have to remove the liner like I did. So, yeah, of course on the bottom side you have to remove it all, but you don't have to take it all apart. Just these four here at the front. And underneath here we need to reinstall the belly pan and that's not completely how it goes. But before that we need to reinstall these pins that are located here. Then the belly pan. So just installing the wheels now, and put the car back on the ground. We only have to do a couple of electrical connections. Yeah, from the lighting and from a sensor near the latch, I believe. Now we just have to install the headlights. That shouldn't be too difficult. And this one, of course. This is for this sender right here. And that's it. Now it's a matter of burping the system. And there you have it, guys, how to change a radiator on a 9N Polo. This is of course with airco, so I know that there is also a non-airco one. Maybe it's a bit easier with that one, but this one you have to take out the whole front end. What did I learn from it? Stay away from all the connections at the back. First take off the front end, and then you can just easily get to all the connections. Maybe the only thing you want to do first is, of course, drain the fluid. It isn't a very difficult job, but it is just insane that you have to demolish half a car to get to the radiator. So yeah, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, leave a comment or a like. If you want to follow me around, you know what to do, and I will see you next time. Bye!